So, has anyone else seen this ad playing before any YouTube videos?
The truth is, behind closed doors, the P word became my secret sin.
I've noticed it popping up in front of all sorts of different videos that I'm watching, so the group behind it must be pushing it in the algorithm pretty hard. And that group is an outfit calling itself Unchained Leader. The founder of this is an individual named Mason Kane. Curious and thinking it might make for an interesting video topic, I decided to dig a little bit deeper. I started by clicking into the comments, and I was surprised to see one of the top comments makes mention of the fact that this group is charging participants about $500 per month. I was surprised by this because a lot of times these Christian initiatives rely on donors and funding and things like that to try and further their agenda. Now, me personally, I feel like those initiatives are predatory in general because they typically prey on people in a weakened emotional state or try and take advantage to push an agenda. However, this one seems to take it to a new level, as the person in the comments points out, who says that he wants this help, if you can call it that, but he simply can't afford it. And so did the next comment down. Now, just to be clear, upon reviewing the rest of the video and the website, what Unchained Leader purports to offer is essentially freedom from addiction to pornography or deviant sexual interests, or what they determine are deviant sexual interests from a Christian standpoint, with a slight emphasis on other addictions like drug and alcohol and cigarettes and things like that. So I go to the website and I find that it is in fact a very pricey thing to participate in. Adding a 90-day program to your cart will cost you $1,000 up front. One thing that religion has always excelled at has been monetizing the threat of hell.
Hell is an eternal reality. You're going there.
For the susceptible, nothing will make them part with their hard-earned money quicker than the threat of eternal damnation. So let's get into this a little bit, and I'm going to share some thoughts along the way.
It made me feel like a hypocrite and a fraud as a husband, as a father, as a business owner, and a leader inside of our church.
So before we even go any further, this heinous, horrific thing that he's describing and talking about that he's so conflicted over is masturbation. It's something that pretty much everybody on the planet does from time to time, male or female, young or old. It's essentially the body's response to a biological imperative.
I felt trapped in this cycle of resisting temptation and then failing, resisting and failing over and over again.
And for some reason I've never been able to understand, sex is something that various religions of the world have been obsessed with for centuries. And ironically, their fixation on sexual Puritanism has given rise to a lot of deviant and abusive practices of their own. A whole separate video could be done on the different barbaric and cruel practices that religions have done to satiate sexual appetites while trying to stay in the confines of what they perceive to be allowable behavior. And all these aberrations tend to occur in environments where people are not dealing with sexual desires as a normal reality.
And the only thing that helped me break out of that cycle was a truth that I'm actually going to show you in scripture that helped me realize that the P word wasn't even my real problem. See, this controlling urge that I fought almost daily for over 17 years was actually just a surface level symptom
of biology.
It's probably no coincidence that God placed this in front of you today.
If by God you mean the YouTube algorithm that you're paying for to aggressively push your advertising, then yeah, we'll go with that.
See, a few years ago, I started using my Instagram account to share this connection on how controlling lust is actually just a symptom caused by a deeper root problem.
Yes, I understand there is such a thing as being an actual sex addict. At least I've heard of it. I know that David Duchovny, one of the co-stars of The X-Files, and I believe Charlie Sheen as well, actually went to rehabs for this, but it's a rare thing, and by and large, it's not that serious. If, a person wants to look at porn and masturbate or have sex or engage in different kinks or fetishes, it's not that serious. As long as they're not hurting anyone, the best thing to do is just accept it as part of normal life, just like waking up and brushing your teeth.
And I started getting a ton of messages from other men asking me to help them identify and heal their own deeper root problem. We now have over 1,800 documented success stories from men just like you.
I mean, documented how? Just because somebody's telling you they don't have an issue anymore that arguably wasn't an issue to begin with because of the use of peer pressure that, tries to guide and influence their behavior and make them feel like they're always being observed. We've seen similar things to this with the Pray the Gay Away camps and things of that nature. And in a little bit, I'm going to touch on just how unsuccessful that is, and all it does is cause internal turmoil and conflict.
I want to connect with you personally first to make sure that this process will work for you so you don't waste any of your time.
Sounds good, but I'm going to hazard a guess. Anybody who initiates contact is going to be strongly encouraged and pressured into participating and paying for it.
I think that we can both agree that God didn't place this in front of you today by coincidence.
Again, with that crap, I guess he's counting on his prospective audience not understanding how YouTube ads work.
Then I would encourage you to test my theory that God put this in front of you for a reason.
Then follows a series of cultish testimonials.
I kept telling my wife, there's got to be more. There's something else out there.
If you can hear my voice right now, I'm talking to you.
This is real, authentic change. I'm just so proud of him.
Yes, I'm so proud of him. He doesn't even touch his penis anymore unless I'm directly involved and I approve and say it's okay. I control his thoughts too. Hell, are you his wife or his mother? It'd be creepy if you were his mother. Everything about this is creepy and weird.
It's a new marriage. I mean, our old marriage is dead. We're entering into a new, it's like the new temple.
Serenity now, insanity later.
I was so completely unsure of this program and commit to it and stay committed because 3 months, you're going to be a completely different person.
Yeah, I'll bet after 3 months of not addressing or allowing any outlet for your sexual urges, you're probably going to be a different person, and not in a good way.
Within the first day, I felt the change. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on training.
I'm inclined to call BS. First of all, how are you going to feel change in the first day? What does that even mean? Secondly, who are you paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for to help you not masturbate? And for that matter, why are you paying $1,000 to this guy? And all this talk about proven success stories and accountability, what does that even mean? Are you putting monitors in people's pants? You got them in chastity belts only you have the key for? Are there hidden cameras in their house? Now, another point of emphasis with the Unchained Leader Company is basically praying the gay away. And this is, and has been for a long time, a point of obsession with conservative Christianity in particular. Now, if you're watching this and you haven't checked it out already, I would encourage you to look at my video from a couple weeks ago, Anti-Furries or Just Furries in Denial. Whether you have an interest in furries or not, a lot of the points that I referenced there from a psychoanalysis standpoint apply here, especially when you're talking about internalized homophobia. Milo Yiannopoulos is currently one of the poster children for internalized homophobia. During the 2016 presidential campaign, Milo was flamboyantly and outspokenly gay. He also identified as a conservative. He frequently combined the two things, including calling presidential candidate and eventually the president Donald Trump Daddy Trump, and making all sorts of gay references throughout the entire thing. At one point, a furry had approached him at one of his rallies, and this resulted in Milo getting some honorary furry tribute art, including this piece right here. However, in a bizarre and relatively recent turn of events, Milo is now not gay, not at all flamboyant or sexual or anything. He's a devout Christian. And essentially what you're looking at when you see things like that is mental illness. Someone who is in self-conflict, self-denial, and self-hate, and is turning not just against themselves, but against their community. Now, there could be many reasons for this, and we could spend a whole bunch of time picking it apart, but the end result is the same. It is not healthy for the person's mental well-being, and does not do any favors for society either. I would be remiss if I did not mention the infamous case of ex-gay Greg and his wife Dee Dee. This was an individual who, about 10 years ago online, came out and declared that he had been saved from being gay, he was now married, and everything was perfect. And in a very short order, everything devolved into chaos and insanity, as is usually the case with these kind of things.
I decided to go into the homosexual lifestyle, and I was in it for 11 years. Even displaying this on my body, and
Hey, what does that say?
This says, "I used to be gay, but Jesus set me free." So a person that's going to decide not to be gay, and that you can do that. There's a lot of us out there that are ex-gay. I read one place on the web that there's more ex-gays than there are gays.
Wow.
That would be an awesome thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was interesting. I'd like to do more research on that.
Get in touch with you. What is your website?
overcomerministries.com.
Now, if you follow that link that he mentioned, overcomerministries.com, you will find a vastly different initiative. And there's a reason for this. Because not long after this giant campaign and touring of Greg Haslip going around saying that he was freed from being gay, he reverted to homosexuality. In fact, the entire thing was very bizarre. At one point, his wife, Dee Dee, claimed that she was pregnant for 11 months and counting. It was a miracle from God because ex-gay Greg had had a vasectomy and couldn't father a child. My understanding is that Dee Dee would go on to claim that she was pregnant for around 3 years so that more people would be aware of her miraculous pregnancy. Like I said, the entire thing became very bizarre. It was bizarre from the beginning. I'm not going to entertain it further. You're welcome to do your own research. There is some sparse information still circulating on the internet about this bizarre duo. But the point is that it's not a far leap from being an internal conflict, denying who you are, and hating yourself, to then having raging mental illness.